Page 12. Page 12 is a lot like page 11, where you are still working with percents, fractions, decimals. You're going to mix them all up and figure out and change them up. And then near the end, when you get to 25 to 30, that's when you're going to start figuring out the percents of a number. So, number 1. Write each decimal as a percent. Now we've done this lots of times. So number 1 is 0.8 or 8/10. When I'm changing that to a percent, I need to multiply by 100 and move my decimal 2 spots over. Don't forget, if you have an empty space, that gets a 0. And now I have 80%. So for number 1 all the way to number 9, that's what you're going to do. You're going to change your decimal to a percent by timesing by 100, moving that decimal 2 spots over to get your percentage. Let's take a look at number 10. Number 10 are fractions, except for number 12, which is a ratio, but remember, the same rules apply for ratios and fractions. So let's look at number 10. Number 10 I have 4/5, and I need to write it as a percent. When I have an easy number to work with on the bottom, when I have a number that I know I can turn into 100, that's the easy way. 5 into 100, I times by 20. I know this because of my 100 math facts that I learned at the very beginning. 4 times 20 is 80. So I've got 80%. So number 11, you can do the same thing. 12, 13, now 14. Let's talk about number 14. You have 11/11. First of all, you can't turn 11 into a denominator of 100 easily. 11 is not part of our 100 math facts. So we do the division thing. Now normally I would say use your calculator, but in this case you don't need to, because I hope that you know that 11 divided by 11 is 1. Now remember, I still have to times by 100 to change it to a percent. So 11 into 11 goes 1 time. So there's my answer, 1. And don't forget, I'm timesing by 100 to get my percent. So you put your decimal at the end if it doesn't have one, and then you move it 2 spots over. Make sure you fill in those blanks, those empty spots with zeros. So now I have 1, 2 zeros, 100%. Now, of course, think about it this way. If you got 11 out of 11 on a quiz, you got 100%. Everything right. All right, number 15. We're going to do number 15 because this is another example where you're going to use division because you can't change 72 into 100. It's not part of our 100 math facts. So we're going to divide again. This time we're going to use our calculator. So 72 into 18. Where's my calculator? So let's get rid of that. So 72, no wait, 18 divided by 72 is 0.25. So 0.25, don't forget I still need to multiply by 100. So I'm going to move that decimal 2 spots over so that I end up with 25%. So that means that 18 over 72 is 25%, or 18 is 25% of 72. And so if you take a look at number 19 all the way to 24, you're going to do the same thing. 18 over, you're going to use division, you're going to get a decimal, and you're going to times by 100 to get your percent. So take a look at number 19. Let's do that. I have 2 over 3. I cannot change my 3 into a 100 denominator. It's not part of my math facts, so I divide. Let's get our calculator going. So 2 divided by 3 is 0.66666, and then there's a 7 at the very end. So now this one says we might need to do some rounding. So 0.6666, we still need to times by 100. So now my decimal's in between the 6's. So my percentage is going to be 66 points, and here's where the rounding comes in. We need to round to the 10th. So here's your 10th column. Is the 6 big enough to change the 6? Yes, it is. 5 or higher, round up. So the 6 changes to a 7, 66.7%. So 19 all the way to 24, this is how you're going to do that. So you need to make sure you've got 4 places after the decimal when you're writing down the answer of your division, so that when you're timesing by 100, you can then round to get the right percentage. If you need help with any of this, make sure you ask. And then when you get to 25, that's when you're going to start doing the same thing pretty much. So number 25. I have 25, and it's the percent of 200. So that means 25 divided by 200 equals, now remember, that's what's cool about division and fractions. 2 over 3 written like a fraction can also be written 2 divided by 3. So division and a fraction are almost the same. They can represent the same value, and they can represent the same operation. So that line can be division, and of course the symbol is division. So 25 divided by 200. Let's do that. 25 divided by 200 equals 0.125. 0.125. Don't forget, you still need to times by 100 to get your percentage. Move that decimal 2 spots over. Now I've got 12.5. I don't need to round because nothing comes after the 5. If you look on my answer, there is nothing there. The whole answer is 0.125. So it's already at the nearest 10th because nothing comes after it. So that's how you're going to do numbers 25 all the way to 30. You're going to do it exactly like this. You write down the 2 numbers that you're working with, you divide, you then times by 100, you write the percent, you might need to round. If you have questions about page 12, let me know.